Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's post-cabinet press conference. Today I'm joined by my colleagues, the Minister of Sports and the Minister of Labour and Small Enterprise Development. Today we'll start with the Minister of Sport making announcement on a board that falls under the ministry.
Thank you, Minister Cuffie, members of the media. Good morning, listeners, viewers. This morning, the Cabinet made a decision to name the Boxing Board of Trinidad and Tobago. The Boxing Board, the new board, will be chaired by Mr. Barry Ishmael, an attorney at law, an expert in combat fighting, karate in particular. Mr. Terry Young, a former police officer, senior police officer. Mr. Simon de Nobreiga, a businessman. Our beloved and well-known Miss Cleopatra Borel, our shot put champion, and Dr. Rochelle Mohammed. The board asks for 5 positions to be filled to make it in its capacity, and we have done so this morning in the Cabinet. Any questions? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. And I'll ask the Minister of Labour and Small Enterprise Development to make an announcement.
Thank you very much, colleague, Minister of Communication, Maxie Cuffie, and my colleague, Minister of Sports, Youths. Good afternoon, members of the media. I'm pleased to indicate that the Cabinet approved the coordinated implementation of activities to empower unemployed persons in Trinidad and Tobago. The Ministry of Labour and Small Enterprise Division, Small Enterprise Development, has recognized that the issue of unemployment in Trinidad and Tobago is multidimensional in nature, and the implications have very obvious financial consequences, including economic, social, physical, mental, and psychological effects. As a consequence, the Cabinet agreed on a 10-point plan focusing on the unemployed in the society, on unemployment. And the objective of this plan is to provide immediate, short, and medium-term assistance to unemployed persons and, where necessary, their families, to mitigate against the negative financial, social, physical, psychological effects of unemployment. The Ministry of Labour recognizes the implementation and the realization of objectives require not only support, government support, but it also requires collaboration with various stakeholders. In that context, the Ministry of Labour and Small Enterprise Development, the National Employment Services Division, will take the lead role in this regard. Collaboration has been held with the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Community Development, Culture and the Arts, the National Insurance Board, Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Finance Company Limited, the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, the Credit Union League of Trinidad and Tobago, the United Nations Development Program, the International Labour Organization, Decent Work Team and Office for the Caribbean, the Energy Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago, the National Energy Skills Center, the American Chamber of Commerce Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Elder Associates. We have had those collaboration meetings. Some elements of the 10-point plan revolves around the establishment of a national register where we hope to capture persons who are unemployed and those who have been retrenched. The The plan also looks at the development of a marketing campaign to solicit new job opportunities for unemployed and to facilitate jobs and job matching skills. The plan would also look at operationalization of training, retraining, upskilling, multi-skilling of the unemployed. What we suspect is that there is a large volume of unemployed persons out there who may have experience but are uncertified. And in that context, we are partnering with the Energy Chamber and the National Training Agency, as well as the National Employment Skills Center. The plan also looks at the need for the provision of psychological and financial counseling to unemployed persons and their families. And in that context, the Ministry of Health will provide wellness and counseling services to them and their families. And a hotline would be developed which would connect the unemployed persons to a web-trix of services. We also looked at the formation of small businesses and cooperatives by the unemployed through NETCO, the National Enterprise Development Company Limited, and the cooperative division of the Ministry of Labor. Also, the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, they are also collaborating with us with regards to the provision of seed capital for startup small businesses. Discussions were also held with the financial sector in adopting a humane approach regarding loans and mortgages of such unemployed persons. The issue of also exploring job opportunities external to Trinidad and Tobago is also on the table, particularly in CARICOM countries. And a job expo, which is planned for next week, Tuesday the 5th of April. And that is planned at the National Skills Energy Center, National Energy Skills Center, on Rivulet Road, Point Lisa, Scoover. We are bringing together all the stakeholders in this regard. And there would be booths, financial counseling, psychological counseling, individual counseling. We'll also be looking at placement, where those unemployed who would be attending would get the opportunity to meet and interface directly with employers. They'll be obtaining information on training, retraining, upskilling, skills assessment, certification programs. It will be a full day of empowering activities from 9 to 5 p.m., where the relevant information and advice and counseling, information sessions, empowering sessions through the delivery of persons in the form of Anthony Watkins, who those people gathered there would be given these motivational empowerment talks. At the end of the exercise, the ministry, in collaboration with all the stakeholders, we will ensure that satellite hubs are established to continue the delivery of all the services that I have mentioned. The Ministry of Trade and Industry, which is committed to partnering with the Ministry of Labor and Small Enterprise Development. They are coordinating the private sector organizations such as the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, the Employers Consultative Association, the American Chamber, and all those other chambers. And large private sector firms, they will also be participating in the job expo for next week, Tuesday. At the end of that exercise, the Ministry of Labor and Small Enterprise Development, through its National Employment Services Division, hopes to provide that enabling environment. The government is not in a position to provide jobs for all the unemployed in this country. As a consequence, therefore, it is necessary for us to partner with the private sector as well as collaborate with the other providers of services falling under the umbrella of the various ministries that I have cited earlier. The intention here is to empower people, to ensure that people continue to have hope in themselves and their abilities to interface directly with the employers, and those employers who would be participating in the Job Expo next week, Tuesday, are coming with jobs so that the relationships can be established. Thank you all very much.